On PS5 and Series X, Alan Wake offers a quality mode and a performance mode, which target 30 and 60 frames per second respectively. Remedy has gone a lot further than just tweaking resolution here, however, and have cut back a range of settings to hit the higher performance mode target. Most obviously, the density of environmental objects is decreased quite a lot in the performance mode. Plants that are present in the quality mode are often entirely absent when we switch to performance. Grass also tends to see a reduction in density, with a more sparse, patchy appearance. Scattered leaves and rocks are similarly thinned out. Both modes look perfectly fine on their own terms, but the quality mode looks significantly more lush in head-to-heads, with abundant, thick foliage. While we're looking at the terrain, the performance mode also seems to have a slightly cruder terrain surface, with less obvious displacement foreground details. This is most obvious up close, where the ground clearly features less geometry than the quality mode. Texture filtering takes a hit too. If you look at the ground here, the texture detail tends to blur more severely when viewed perpendicular to the camera. Most of the time it doesn't make a huge difference, but distant texture detail in particular doesn't resolve well in the performance mode. The actual resolution of in-game textures does seem to be unchanged however, as both resolve similar detail levels at close range. Volumetric lighting also encounters some obvious cutbacks. In this shot, the performance mode has less distinct volumetrics, without the detailed rays we see in quality mode. Resolution has been cut back somewhat to hit the harsher frame time target. Fog quality is dialed down as well, with a less pleasing presentation here. Next up is shadow quality. The performance mode's shadows are less comprehensive, so distant objects, like the flag here or this NPC, don't have shadows. Neither mode looks great here, but the quality mode does have obviously better shadow coverage. Shadow resolution, though, usually looks about the same between the two. There are some exceptions, like the shadows from the string on the caseboard here, but most of the time apparent shadow resolution seems similar, if not the same. This post provides a good example. You can see how both modes feature the same aliased edges in the exact same places. Most of the difference in typical play comes down to shadow filtering, which operates at a higher quality level in the quality mode. Edges have a more defocused appearance, and shadows have a slightly smoother look, helping to minimize the appearance of aliasing. As I flip back and forth here, notice how the smaller branches become more indistinct in the quality mode. It's a subtle difference that again is only really noticeable in a close appraisal of the two modes. There are a couple of other settings that have been changed as well. LOD settings are more aggressive in the performance mode, so pop-in is more intrusive and occurs closer to the player view. Global illumination takes a hit too, so certain details, like Saga's hair, showcase less accurate lighting in the performance mode. Screen space reflections appear noticeably improved in the quality mode as well, with a less grainy and better defined appearance, though this is just a byproduct of the differences in rendering resolution between the two modes. With visual settings out of the way, let's move on to the resolution metrics. The Series X version renders at 1270p in quality mode, with a 4K FSR2 output resolution. In performance mode, we're looking at an 847p resolution, with an output of 1440p. There is some difference between the two modes in stills, but image stability in motion is really where the two modes differ. The performance mode has quite a bit more breakup on fine details, like the fences here and the power lines. Fine foliage details in particular pose an issue for the image reconstruction, as the FSR2 struggles to maintain a smooth image, especially in the performance mode. Image quality is one of the few areas where Alan Wake's console code doesn't excel, and the results can be messy at times, especially with lots of specular detail or with fine foliage elements like tree branches. The combination of a third-person perspective, lots of dynamic lighting, and somewhat aggressive resolution targets throws up issues for the FSR2 here, with an understandable but annoying hit to image quality. And what about PS5? We've been looking at the Series X version so far, but the PS5 is more or less a mirror image of the Series X code. Across a range of tests, I couldn't spot any real differences favoring either console. Key problem areas on the Series X, like a pretty messy shadow resolve and mediocre screen space reflections, recur identically on the PS5 as far as I can tell. That holds true across both the quality modes and the performance modes on both respective systems. And resolution-wise, we're still at a 1270p, 847p split in quality and performance mode respectively, with the same image quality concerns we saw on Xbox.